I did a movie called The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg. The acting has to be tough, right? It's never been tough for me because like it's always been something that I want to do. You don't realize what hard work is until you see hard work.
Hello and welcome to Underdogs, Bootstrappers, and Game Changers. This is for those of you that are starting with nothing and using business to change their stars. Motivating people who disrupted industry standards. This is the real side of business. This isn't Shark Tank. My aim with this podcast is to take away some of the imaginary roadblocks that are out there. I want to help more underdogs because underdogs are truly who change the world. This is part of our Content for Good initiative. All the proceeds from the monetization of this podcast will go to charitable causes. It's for the person that wants it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Underdogs, Bootstrappers, Game Changers, and my good friend Norm Towns is here today.
How you guys doing? I don't know which camera to look at, but I'm here.
That's your camera there.
Oh, okay.
So I always have a underlying theme with every episode, and you and I, Norm and I are friends. We have some stories that we're going to share today, but there's a lot of people out there that like think things are impossible, right? And like they come up with all the ways not to do something or like the excuses not to get there. And Norm does acting, right? It's like there is probably a lot of people in this world that would wish the actor's life, right? Or want to be one or, admire acting. And a lot of people would say, impossible, I can't try, like there's nothing I can do to leverage that. And you have. And that's why I wanted to bring you on today, and we'll have some discussions around, kind of like what you've done that I really admire and that other people can take from that. And so let's start here.
Okay.
Tell me like the first thing that inspired you to want to like what was your mind saying when you were like, I want to be an actor? And then the whole world's telling you it's like impossible. Like, how did you like first beat that hurdle?
You know what? I feel like I never obeyed my fear or what someone else said to me.
Okay.
And I think that it's like a lot of times we have these fears or we allow people to press fears upon us. Yeah. And it's not the fear that stops us, but it's our obedience to that fear.
Sure.
It's that movement. It's like we don't do anything, right? And I've felt like just even growing up, I've always attacked like fears, challenges, things that I felt like were hard to do. I've always attacked it. Yeah. And I've always felt like I've always noticed more success from attacking my fears than allowing them to affect me.
Gosh, so well put.
Yeah, so And I never, one thing that I noticed that I've done that other people, I've never based my worth off of my accomplishments. Yeah. And a lot of people base their worth off of their accomplishments. They walk into a room, if they have something more, like that is always like led them to feel a certain way was like something externally. I've always like based my worth off of who I was internally. Yeah. So it's like, even if I have nothing, I move the same. If I had everything, I moved the same. Yeah. And I think that a lot of people, like even in like entertainment field, they don't feel like they're worth anything because they don't have the accomplishment. They might not have the credits, they might not know the right people, and they've allowed it to hinder them. Like I'm the type where I've never based my worth off of a resume, off of things that I've done. Like I've never, if I've done a lot or if I didn't do anything, I'm still the same person. I still have the same mindset. I still move because like my worth was based off of me. But I feel like a lot of times, like even in a sense where it's like hard or people tell you that, I've never allowed it to affect me because I never embraced that as my reality. People will be like, yo, that's hard for you. That must be tough. And for me, that it was never tough for me. And I think that I realized what I was good at early or what came easy to me or natural to me, because being an accountant for me would be tough. You know what I'm saying? Like people say acting's tough. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's tough if you're not good at it or if you naturally don't have it, because drawing wasn't tough for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just certain things that weren't necessarily hard for me that I gravitated towards and I was able to cultivate, as opposed to doing something that was tough for me.
Did people support you in that dream initially, or did they like, hey, get a real job?
I never really had support in that way. But like I say, like I never base my worth off of what other people thought.
How do you do that though? How do you stay motivated when the world's telling you can't do something, but you know you can?
Well, because the world didn't make me, like I even hear people sometimes, they're like, yeah, this person doesn't share, this person doesn't like my stuff. I've never thought of other people to impact who I was as a person. It's never, I'm telling you, I've never, and it might be weird, it might be strange, and I've thought about it, like where did that come from? But like even early on, like no one can do anything that has been able to like affect how I thought about myself or what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like no one, you can't hurt my feelings.
Is there a magic trick to that? Like something you could give somebody to like feel like know that? Because we both know.
Yeah.
What's that phrase? Whether you can or you cannot, you're right, right? Or whether you say you can't or I can't, you're right. So how do you give people that like tool? Because I believe anybody can do anything they want to do. Yeah. Right. It's just pushing this thing around in here to believe it too. Right.
It's funny. It's like I was telling one of my friends, it's so much like Slumdog Millionaire in a way where it's like there's been so many things where like I never had like I was never pressed to go to college.
Okay.
I never I don't think I never had like an expectation on my life.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like if I brought home bad girl, it wasn't the end of the world. I never had like I remember this girl that I was talking to once, her friend got stood up and they were going crazy over it. And she was like, how would you feel? And I knew I wouldn't feel like it wouldn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. And she's like, why? And I was like, I don't know if I've never felt like important enough. Where if someone stood me up, it would feel like, if you showed up, I was like, wow, you showed up. But like I never came from a place of like having things to where I could lose it. It's like if you don't have anything, you can't lose anything. You can only gain. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to take a risk when you don't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna lose? But then when you start acquiring things, that's when like the real test is there, where it's like, okay, shit, I can't lose this. Like I don't want to mess this up, or I can't. And I think
now that you have, do you have any of that creeping in?
No, but I've practiced something for so long that it became part of my identity.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, like there's things that you have to do to keep you in the same place, but like I've practiced it so much. See, we only see like the finished product of stuff.
Totally.
We only see like, oh, you're doing this, or you're good, or you're successful, but we don't see like
I knew he could do it when they finally do it.
Everything that goes into it. Yeah. And even like my hard times, I've always like made the most of it, and it was never like a hard time until I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, money was tough. But even when people are like the acting has to be tough, right? It's never been tough for me because like it's always been something that I want to do. It's always been my true, like I've always lived in my truth.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like for me, even if the money wasn't there, like I wasn't doing it for the money.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it for, like, I never had a preconceived idea about how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
I just did what I would like to do in the moment.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, it's almost like a kid playing a video game. It's like you didn't think about like it's like, I just like playing the video game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You just like doing it.
I just like doing it. I just enjoyed it.
Well, one thing I thought that was great is you took control of it. So like we're friends, I know you well. And so I know your story and it's like, talk to me a little bit about like where you started to do like those jobs that nobody else wanted to do just to get in the environment and how that like helped.
Yeah. Just to get in the environment. I would, I've done everything from sound to production. There's not one thing I haven't done. And I remember like early on, I used to take a lot of jobs that were very like, I guess, embarrassing to many people. Like I guess a lot of my friends would be like I flip signs. I wash dishes.
Yeah.
I've worked at kids camp. I did after school programs.
Yeah.
I've worked at the night shift.
Yep.
I've done security at hotels. I've done I've had like 2 or 3 jobs at one time. There was one time where I was working at Fitness by the Sea with kids, and then I would go to Adidas and I would work at Adidas. And then at night I would go and work at their Hollywood Roosevelt as security. And this was like my schedule. right? And my whole thing was like to be like an actor, but I was like, I needed money. So these are things that like no one I know would do. You know, there's a lot of people that were like, I'm an actor, or I look too cool. Like I've never had one of those complexes where I thought I was seen or looked at as something special. Like I've never had a problem doing these things. So like I think when I start to see like the fruits of my labor come about or things that I've done, like I've always been proud every step of the way.
Yeah.
And I got to see it pay off. And I've also seen people that were really good and had a lot of pride, and it never worked out. It never worked out. And like a lot of people don't realize like how like special, and one of my teachers said this to me too once, where it was like the power of being brave.
Yeah.
The power of being brave can separate you. There's people in the same place.
Yep.
But just being brave, being hungry, like can separate you from everyone else. Like there's so many times there are people in the room and they're scared to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Or they can't, like they're like, oh man, this is so and so. Like just being brave to talk to somebody and to separate yourself can change your life.
I agree.
You know, and like, and a lot of times people aren't necessarily successful, and they think that like they're not successful because of their work ethic, or like I give you an example, being hard. An actor is being hard, right?
Yeah.
They say acting is hard. I always say everything is easy. It's just easier not to do something.
Yeah.
Right. That was always like my motto. Everything is easy. It's just easier not to do something.
Sure.
But a lot of times, like when we don't work hard, or we don't put in the work, we don't realize, like we think that we're not putting in the work for, there's numerous reasons, but a lot of times we're not putting in the work because of our belief system.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's not that like we're only working towards our belief system. Because if I told you that you would be a successful this or that and you believed it, how you work would be totally different than how you would work if you didn't believe it.
Well, it's like if I told you you could go work at Adidas for a year and then you'd be a famous actor, would you do it?
Oh, yeah.
But to go to work for Adidas for a year and not knowing your future, some people like, well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And there's something I want to bring back really quick as a message to you guys. It's like, have you noticed over and over again, the guests I have on here have all had multiple jobs at the same time? There's a key component to people that actually make it in things, you know? And it's like, and I know it's not popular. I made a video recently. Like the first thing I think you should do to practice for business is go out and get 2 jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, you know, it's like, but nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear, you know, like, oh, here's the secret hashtag hack to being successful in business. The secret hashtag hack, and you've seen 20 people say they've had multiple jobs, and that's the way they started.
And I think every single person should try to open up a business of their choice for 1 year.
Agreed.
Because then I feel like you would realize, like, okay, like either 2 things. You're just going to shut up and work and be like, all right, like, and you're going to know like everything that comes with running something. Yeah. And you're going to be blown away. Yep. Because like even being an actor, a producer, like I'm an entrepreneur, and a lot of the jobs that I've had have been way easier. Yeah. Right? Than doing my own thing, because like I have to be disciplined. See, when you have a job, it handles the discipline. Like you have to be there. You'll get written up. Yeah, it
like frames you in.
When you do your own thing, the consequences aren't right away. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if I'm showing up late to the job, the consequences right away. I get it. I get written up or I get fired. If I go out and have a crazy day, I still got to wake up in the morning and pretend to be there. So like when you do your own thing, the consequences aren't right away. Yeah. But then you look up and you're like, whoa, like I have to be on top of this. You're behind in this. You're checking your eat. Like it's a lot. Yeah. You know, and a lot of times having a job, like they say, how you do anything is how you do everything. Totally. And a lot of people don't realize like that work ethic, the things that you need to be successful in anything you do, it takes a lot.
It's astounding to me that people think they're going to be a half-ass worker in somebody else's company and then be an amazing worker the second they open their own doors. And not only that, but then they open their own doors, they get an employee, and they expect them to be an amazing employee, even though they would never work. It's like, so you don't even deserve it. You were a half-ass employee in the company.
I've been around so many people and worked with people in environments. I could tell no matter where you are, if you could really be successfure.
Sure.
And a lot of times, like, people don't realize this is like buildings are built before they're built.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It's like there's a blueprint. Like your success happens before success.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the way that someone moves with nothing will show you how they'll move with everything. And it's so clear, because I've seen people that have gone on to have like amazing careers and start off from here to here. And like the one difference, it wasn't the talent, because a lot of times the most talented people don't really go that far, which is interesting. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of vices.
People that got it early.
Got it early, or there's a lot of vices.
Yep.
But a lot of times the people that end up getting there, and see, it takes two different things. To get somewhere, it's different than staying somewhere.
Yeah.
Even in relationships, to have a relationship takes one thing to get someone, but to keep them is something else. It's like two different things, right? Maintaining something versus getting it is two different things.
And most guys will put in all the work at the front, right?
Yeah, work at the front. Yeah, right. Yeah.
The ambassador shows up.
Right, the ambassador shows up. Yeah. So it's like two different things, but it takes a lot. You know, there's how you move, like it's gonna show. Yeah, it's gonna show.
I know like you to be like a really good-hearted person, and I know like people love you immediately, and like that's never. It says a lot for your character, and your heart, but then also encourages people to like join you in like things in life, you know. And so like we met because you came into the studio and you're like, Tyler, I want to open a podcast. I wanted to make a decent chunk of money in the first year, and I told you, I don't think so, right?
Yeah, you sure did. Like, you sure did.
That kind of like I'm like I believe in you. I'm not that I don't believe in you, but historically you're not going to make a killing the first year, right? And you have a name and traction, so that's a little bit different than some people starting. And so, but at the end of the day, we developed a friendship over it. Ended up helping you with your business opening and that sort of stuff. Podcast is still in the works at some point. But I want to use this as a quick segue to say why I'm wearing my orange shoes today. So I had just gotten back from Cambodia after a month of filming, and my shoes were so beat up that like they were hanging like the front, and I actually think I've even worn them on this set before. And so Norm sees this, and he comes in a couple days later and he brings me a whole bag of Converse shoes. And so that just shows his heart. You know, he saw that I needed some shoes and brought me a whole bag of shoes. And, like you and I have been great friends ever since.
Yeah. Because and that's the thing is like, I always show love and so much has happened in my career that like, it's not like, I can't take credit for so many good things that have happened. But all I can do is control me and where I'm going towards. You know, I can't control anything else. Yeah. Especially in our field, like you can't control unless someone gives you an opportunity. So I've always tried to just do the right thing and do right by people and massage like good relationships. I've always had great relationships with people, and I've never been afraid to like have good relationships with people. Yeah. Like there's times where I would join like soccer leagues or football leagues, and I would just sign up to just meet new people to join leagues and stuff like that. And I remember one of my friends was like, "This is the weirdest thing. Like you don't know anybody on the team." I was like, "Nah, I wanted to like join a league. I just wanted to join like a flag football league or like a soccer league because I've never played that. I was just like, I want to do it, and then I'll meet people and I'll have like the best friendships or like just like it's just crazy how it works, but like. It just happens from me putting myself in positions that like most people are scared to do. Like the same way with this podcast stuff. It's like I came to Arizona. I was like, I want to look at podcasts. So I just Googled podcasts and I just started calling. I was like, I want to check out the space, and you were so welcoming and such a good person and encouraging and honest. And it was so refreshing because I was like, I'm the same way. Yeah. Like you weren't someone that was like trying to sell you on something or to like make you buy it, but you were just like, what are you trying to do? Okay, well, that probably won't work like this unless you do this. But like you never gave a criticism without a suggestion. You know, you're like, well, maybe you could do this, or maybe this is another avenue. Like, and that's how I think. That's how I move too, where it's like, okay, if this isn't a possibility, like maybe I could do this to get to this, or maybe I have to do this or that to get to this point. And like, that's why things happen for people. I'm telling you, things that happen for people like that, like, I hate to say it, but it's like one of those things where it's like, it starts there. That's where it starts. And a lot of people,
I agree.
You know,
it's like you've hit on a couple of key things. It's like working hard and, like controlling the things you control, which was your work ethic, right? And then loving people to the point that you even get involved. You know, it's uncomfortable for somebody to go and meet a bunch of random people, but those are two key components of being successful.
Key components.
You know, it's like, so in my MBA class, one time they asked this question. They put Warren Buffett, I think, on the TV, and he's like, in this room right now, and I'm in this room with all these like illustrious MBA students, right? It's like a lot of them were CEOs of companies and things like that. It's like, okay, I'm going to give you an opportunity, and you can invest in any one of the students in this room as to their future potential, right? Just like a business. And then they leave you quiet for a minute, and you sit there and you ponder that thought. And I'm thinking about this thought, and I'm like, I'm sitting next to all these people. I was really intimidated when I first got into my MBA program. And I was like, the answer, I think, is me. Of all these people, like, they're great, it's like, and they'll work hard, and they're great, they're smart, they've done amazing things, but nobody's going to work harder for me. Nobody has the plan I have, and so I thought in my mind, I would invest in myself, right? And like, that key notion has come about in my life quite often, because secondarily to myself, who's the first investment, I look for people in my life that I would also invest in given the second opportunity. And you're one of them. Like, I see your star rising all the time. I love supporting what you do. I love watching you win. And then, but I think like what the audience can take out of those key components is work ethic once again, and your ability to give and love people and try to connect with people in environments that aren't always comfortable, right? And then even taking the little job, because you never know where it gets you to next.
It never, and there's so many things that like I've seen people do, and I've learned from, where like when I go on set, like I'm nice to like the sound person, the AD, like I talk to everyone, I say goodbye, I have a conversation, and this goes back to where I was telling you, like so many of my blessings or things that have happened have been because like the photographer that I talked to is working on another set, and they needed somebody, and he was like, oh, I know Norm. Like if I could tell you how many times opportunities have came my way
from kindness.
Like,
I love that.
It would blow someone's mind to where, like most people, they just want to talk to the person at the top, or they'll set up a meeting to sell a show. Like I started setting generals. I started doing generals, and I remember a few of like my friends were like, "This is like, why are you doing a general if you don't have nothing to talk about? Like this is crazy." And if I would have listened to that, I would have been like, you're right. Like, why am I doing a general? I don't have nothing to talk about.
What's a general? Sorry.
Like where you just have a general meeting.
Oh, okay.
So like you could have like a general meeting with like, say, I want to have a general meeting with Tyler so we could just talk and So I was like, man, maybe you're right. But I didn't realize like having these general meetings allowed me to know someone, to meet them. Then when I have an idea for a project, they're like, Norm, that's your idea? Oh man, well, you know what? Maybe we should do it. You know what? Let's do this and do this and do this. And this is how we can do it. And that's how I got this project called the Dunbar Heights off. But it was one of those things where it's like, it started from just having a general meeting. I got to know somebody. Then I got to know like what they were looking for or where they were at. And then when I had an idea that fit in their realm, then it was like, oh, it made sense. Or they gave me some new advice. But if I came up to them and was like, hey, I got this idea. Now it sounds like a pitch. Now there's no common ground. Now
earn it.
There's no, you don't earn it. And a lot of things that like I've done have been because of like jobs that I've had or things that I've learned like throughout life that have helped me so much in this like just life. I remember going door to door selling knives and stuff. There's like so many things with rejection. And I think that
another one, door to door sales, another successful trait.
But it's like I've learned rejection early to where it's like you cannot, like, you're not gonna hurt my feelings by saying no. I'm gonna figure out another way.
Sure.
You can't, like, you'll be surprised at how many people cannot take a loss. They can't take an L.
Yeah.
They cannot take a loss. Like, I could live in a loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go through L's, like, losses, like, all the time until I get to where I know I need to get to because I know it's coming. But, like, there's a lot of people that can't do that.
You learn a lot more in the loss.
Oh, you learn. Oh, man.
I hate to lose. Honestly, you know, like I hate to lose, but you learn a lot more in the loss. And I always look, the greatest strides they made in life is because of the losses, right?
I remember
the mistakes.
Yeah, I remember Mark. I think it's Mark Cuban saying, like, he does business with people that have failed.
Yeah,
like, because they know how it feels and they bounce back. It's like they know how to, like, deal with losses. Yeah. And a lot of people, if they get it earlier, they win. When they take an L, they go like, like, you know how to bounce back from something. Sure. You know, a lot of people that have been successful, they know how to bounce back, and they've faced resilience somewhere in life. They've overcame something.
The number one trait of successful people is the ability to overcome adversity, right? Yeah. And so it's like, I feel horrible for kids that deal with bullying and stuff in their youth, but actually it sucks, but that bad stuff, it actually prepares you to be more successful in life.
Yes, it does. And it's like how you overcome it. Yeah. And a lot of people don't teach people how to overcome, you know, things like that, or give them like ways to deal with it, ways to overcome it. Yeah. You know, like, hey, and then it's funny, it's like once you face it, you're like, man, my fear of it was way greater than the reality of it.
Always,
you know,
right?
My fear of something was way greater. I remember, I think Will Smith was saying how when he was about to go skydiving, like the whole week up to it, he was scared. He was dreaming about fire. And then when he did it, he was like, man, my fear of this was way greater than the reality of me jumping out of a plane.
You know, everything that, and I have a famous phrase on this show especially, it's like, there's two ways to tell if you should do something and if you're going to truly grow from it. Mm-hmm. Number one is if you fear it, and number two, you check that your heart's in the right place. If those two answers ring yes, you have to do it because that's where you'll grow the most as a person, right? And so, like, I've done a lot of things in life that I'm afraid of. When we first went over to do the docuseries in Cambodia, I'm beating myself up for a month. You know, you're the actor, not me. It's like, I'm beating myself up for a month. I'm so nervous. I'm sick to my stomach for a whole month. And I'm like, Tyler, you're not fucking Barbara Walters. You know, why are you going over? And not only that, but I'm telling myself this in my head. I'm like, not only that, but you have to choose the hardest one always. You know, like, why you got to choose the guy that like literally worked in Hollywood as president of Fox Films as your first episode that you're going to interview, right? It's like, couldn't you have chose something a little easier? Yeah. And like, I'm sick to my stomach over it. You know, co-host backed out at the last minute. And it's like, I go over there and it fucking changed my life.
Change your life.
In every single way, right? Wow. And it was all that sickness and fear that I needed to really get there to the next level, right? And so like that fear, overcoming that completely changed my life.
Completely changed your life. Yeah. And it's like, see, I never put anything on a pet. Like, I never was like I wanted to be a famous actor, or I wanted to, like, you know, you hear people like, yeah, you just want to get your big break or your big this. Yeah. I've never thought like that. I've always just said I want to do what I enjoy doing. Yeah. You know, I want to do what I like to do, what I enjoy doing. And if there's something that I can enjoy doing that I can pay my rent and bills with, even better. But like, I've always yearned for something that I enjoyed doing. And I never was like, oh, because I used to hear people like, oh, you got to get your big break. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, I do have my big break. Like, I get to, like, I can
You've
go
done
do
some cool stuff already.
But like,
I wander around and see signs of you.
Even before cool stuff, everything was cool stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Everything was cool stuff. I've never taken a project to where it was a big deal or I put it on a pedestal. Because I remember somebody was like, you know, I just did that film with Jordan Peele, and they were like, how did it feel? And it felt just as good as doing a short film called Cereal for Breakfast and this and this. Like, they all felt amazing. Yeah. Nothing was like nothing was like, oh, this is, yeah, oh my God, this is bigger. This is like, I've met amazing people at every single thing I've done. If it was a short film, I've taken it like it was an Oscar-worthy film. If it was a commercial, it was just as fun. If it was this, whatever it was a big deal for me, and I treated it all the same. So now when I have a big situation to other people, they're like, oh my God, were you nervous? And I was like, no, because like everything was the same. Yeah. Everything just felt good.
There's such a, like, I think there's a lesson there. It's like, and I used to like think about this when I was employing people. It's like when we would work in a horrible job, right? Who would keep a good mood, right? Because I don't care what the job is. If you're around good people, it's fun. Right? It could be 125 degrees and you're moving furniture. If you're working with the right people in the right environment, it is fun. And like what I see from you is like you're on these sets, and no matter what it is, you're not down in the dump. People love working with you, which is another key component. So keeping a good mood is like a huge skill in itself, and people want to be around you in those cases. They want to bring you to the next thing because you're so much fun to be around and work with, you know?
And I really try my best to like always like live in my truth.
Yeah.
And like I hear it all the time, like some people are like, who's your favorite actor or this? And I just name these like random people that they've never heard of, that I've been in class with, that I thought were amazing. They just never got their opportunity. And I'm like naming these people, and people are like, who are they? And then next thing you know, they start blowing up and people start seeing them. And I was like, cause I'm answering honestly of like what I've seen and who I see is good. And sometimes people that are really good aren't in the position yet. Or they might never be in the position. But I know talent when I see it, or I see people and I'm like, man, like they're special. And whether they get to be seen on a level that people can admire them, because see, a lot of times it's like when you get your praise, that's when people start congratulating you and But like I'm honest enough to see people that like haven't got their opportunity yet, and I know it's coming, or even if it doesn't come, like I'm like, wow, they're good.
What do you think? So like I would guess there's a high, let's not call it a failure rate, but quit rate, right? It's like, okay, this thing's not for me, I'm not making it or whatever. I would guess there's a really high quit rate in trying to be in entertainment. So what do you see in the people, the key undertoning notes that you see of those that make it?
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of variables. Sometimes, like a lot of times, it is resilience or it's positioning. But like, it's everyone has. So many people have gifts. Lots of gifts.
Sure.
And what they do with those gifts or how they use it. It's like we're diving into like there's surface level answers, and then there's like depth, because there's some people like that take acting like a job, and they've got opportunities. And like I remember Ashton Kutcher said this once, where he was like, he grew up like on a farm and stuff, and they were like, well, what about acting? Is it like this and this? And he was like, I literally am a hard worker. So when I got an opportunity, like I took it the same way I would get an opportunity if I was like working here. Like I took it serious.
That's what people
and I just worked hard.
You
know, it wasn't that like, it was something that like I wanted, like I was just like, how do I do the best job I can do? And that's like, so there's so many things, like some people are just really good business people. And they're entrepreneurs. But like, I think what it comes down to is like, these people that are successful, like they're hard workers, and you don't realize how like, you don't realize what hard work is until you see hard work. That is one thing that I think a lot of people don't like. You see someone at the top, and you could change at the top because you're there. You see what I'm saying? You could party a little more, You could like, it's like me going to your celebration and being like, man, he celebrated, you know? But like, to get to that point, like if you got around someone, if you got to see what hard work really looks like, either you're gonna say like, okay, I know what I need to do, or you're gonna say like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. You know, because like hard work, and see, a lot of people think hard work is one dimensional, where it's one thing.
No.
Like, let me tell you something. When I wanted to like act, right?
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm not getting the breaks. I'm not this and this. And I had a coach tell me, he was like, well, how many meetings are you setting up a week?
Yeah.
How many workshops are you going to?
Yep.
How many classes do you go to every week? And like, I was like, well, how many people do you call? How many people do you email? And I'm thinking like, how many agents do you set up like lunches? How many generals are you having a week?
Yeah.
How many people are you talking to? What directors are you meeting up with? How many classes? Oh, did you do the master class? Did you do And I was like, man, and he was like, you're expecting these outcomes, right?
And you're not putting them.
And you're not putting in the work. But I was like, oh, well, this is, because see, a lot of people want it.
Yeah.
Like, so many people want stuff.
Yeah.
But very few are willing to put in the work to get the things that they want. And see, a lot of times we're mad at the results.
Yeah.
We're mad at the results of the outcomes that we put in. I'll give you a great example, right? What you're looking at is the results of something that I've done.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like, if I look at your body, I'm like, I can't see you working out.
Uh-huh.
I might not like see, but I'm looking at the results of somebody that works out, right? Like, I'm looking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so
I'm
easy.
Yeah. I might not see you working out.
Yeah.
I might not know when you work out. Like, you might even say you barely work out, but the results that you're showing me is like, you're doing something that somebody else isn't doing.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing something that not a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
So like, a lot of times we don't realize that like, you're seeing the results of a lot of things that I've done or someone else has done.
Yeah.
Right. But you might not be seeing me do them.
Sure.
You don't see me waking up at 5 a.m. working out so that way I can do X, Y, and Z and Z, Z, Z.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but
taking the bad job.
Yeah, taping the bad job.
Taking the heartbreak and going back out.
Yeah, doing this, being an extra.
Smiling.
I did extra work for a long time. I did, like, you're seeing the results of a lot of work. And this is the thing. This is why, like, I don't really, like, I judge, like, somewhat on a curve because, like, I know how much it takes to be decent.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
Like, I know, because someone say, how'd they do? I'm like, oh, they did great. They did really good. They did really good. So how do you, like, watching a film, that was decent. That was good. That was good. Because, like, I just know how much it takes to be decent.
So true.
And if you knew how much it took to be, like I look at things and I'm like, if you tried to do that, do you know, like I did stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is? Not just to make somebody laugh, but to get on a stage and say your name.
Yeah.
Just go up there and say, hi, I'm Norman. Hi, I'm Tyler. Hi, you know, like, just get up there and say your name.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how tough that is? And then when you get up there, hi guys, you know, so to tell a joke. So like, I know, I put myself in positions where I know what it takes, and you have a different outlook when you know what it takes. And I have a different outlook when someone comes up to me and they say, yeah, you want to get into acting and stuff like that. There's no doubt about it. I don't think someone could be successful, but like, my mindset is like, are you willing to do what it takes?
Yeah. Are
you willing to, you know, audition thousands of times and maybe book 2 jobs?
Sure.
Do you have what it takes to, like, oh man, get a little side job so that way you can say you have a toothache to leave to go do an audition in the Valley and try to make it back and try, like, do you have what it takes to
how
go
bad do you
through?
Want it?
Yeah, how bad do you really want it?
Yeah.
Do you have what it takes to show up at an event that you weren't invited to, or show up to a commercial audition that you weren't even invited to, but you heard they're doing commercials here, so you're just going to show up and sign your name in, and then they say they can't find you, and you're like, oh man, my agent must have messed up, and then you make up an agent, or you call somebody, or you know what I'm saying? Like, like,
how bad do you want it?
Yeah, I've done things that, like, nobody who's doing that. I used to email my headshot to like agents and managers. It didn't matter who they were. Like I would, I would take the bus places. I would take the bus. I've audited so many classes under different names so that way I could come back and take the class, and I try to like not say nothing so that way people don't remember me, because you get a one-time audit. Yeah. So I'd come in there and audit as Romeo, and then I come back and audit it as Jeff, and they'd be like, you look so familiar. You know what I'm saying? Like when you want something, you'll get it. You see what I'm saying? And like these people, like I get so like, it kind of like irks me because some people be like, yeah, I want this. And I'm like, do you really want it? Like, are you willing to do that? Like, are you willing to go get a job at Disney and be a character, and wear a head? It's just like, these are the things that you get when you want something.
Oh,
when you want it,
yes,
like you'll get it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that they want something until you get around someone that wants it.
Yeah.
You think you want to learn how to, like, you think you want these things, and until you, like, I used to say this all the time, like, people that want to be an actor or this, just spend a few hours with me.
Yeah.
You're going to be either bored, tired, frustrated. You're going to be like, yo, this is like, wake up, like meet me at the gym at 4:30.
Yep. That's
what I tell people. I'm like, yo, they go, oh, I'm trying to meet me at the gym at 4:30.
Yeah.
What? 4:30 p.m.? No, a.m. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then go here with me, and then go here, and then I got a class at 10. Come to my class with me. Here, he hit up the teacher, and then you start seeing the people. They won't show up.
Yep.
Oh, I fell asleep, or this
Yep.
or this. Like, you don't want it like you think you want it.
Gosh.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do what it takes to have what it. And I'm not even saying anything. This is the funny thing.
Yeah.
I'm not even telling you to do something to like shock you.
Yeah.
I'm not even doing something to like play a game to put you through it. Like, how someone say, wake up at 2, and, you wake up at 2, and they, like, I'm not even telling you to do something that is extreme. Like, I'm just telling you to do the bare minimum to meet me.
What I love about what you're saying is, like, I'm sitting here in my brain and I'm going, so it's possible. Right? And if you're able to do that instead of, oh man, I don't know if I can go all through that. So you're saying I have control of this. Right? The second you can say, okay, I have control of waking up at 4:00 in the morning. I have control at auditing these classes. I have control of doing these things exceptionally over and over again, trying day in and day out. I can control all that. So the right mindset towards this is like, I can make this a distinct possibility and have control over it, not this mystery of luck, right? And that's what I think is so inspiring. You're controlling it. So the wrong brain will look at that, oh, you're doing all that stuff. Yeah. That's hard. It's like, that's not the way my brain looks at it, and that's not the way your brain should look at it. You're like, I can control this. Yep. I can control this by waking up every day at 4:00 in the morning. I can control this by getting out there as many. You throw enough darts at the dartboard and you will make some shots, right? It's like, and that's what you're telling me, and I find that inspiring.
And it's what you want.
Yeah.
See, like, I'm blessed to have some, I have some assets and some things that are cool, but like, if I had some money, it's going into class, it's going into meetings, like, it's going into the things that I want, which is in return producing the things that I really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, these things are so cool.
Yeah.
But it's like, my mentality is like, these are the things that I like. I did a movie called The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg, and when I tell you, I didn't know it was possible to work that hard. Like, this guy wakes up at like 2 a.m. He goes to church. After church, this is daily.
Yeah.
This is why we were on set for The Gambler, so it might be different.
Yeah.
But then he would work out and run his lines with his friend from like 4 to 5:30. He'd be on set by like 6:30 is call time. He'd bring his kids with him so that way he could spend time with them.
Yeah.
From like 7 to like whenever he got done, right? So that way he could spend time with them. He'd go home, I think, when he would wrap, maybe around like 6:30, like whatever. And then he'd be in bed by 7, and he'd be up in the morning doing the same thing.
So that story.
So that's like 7 to 2. Like, he's sleeping. Like, I'm telling you, like, it was like, and this isn't like this is what people don't realize too. It's like like to someone that doesn't know that,
Yeah.
you would think that like they're making it up. Like you don't just land on top of a mountain.
No.
You see what I'm saying? Like you don't just, like someone would be like, okay, yeah, right. Like I'm sure you're taking a day off. I'm sure you're like not, like even that mentality, that mindset to even think that these people don't even have that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like if you were to tell someone normal, they'll be like, yeah, right. Like no one is that no, these people are that disciplined and that consistent that's what gives them the outcome that they have.
It's controllable, and you hear that over and over again, right? It's like you hear that with Michael Jordan, you hear that with The Rock, you hear that with Kobe Bryant. You know, everybody that has this optimal level of success, they're all putting in the effort and the work, and they can control that, right? And so and we're living in this internet resolution of like, oh, it's so easy, because guess what? It's so easy makes a lot of money in this world right now. It's so easy. You just buy this thing, take my class, whatever it is, we'll get you there tomorrow. And the answer is it never happens. And that's what I was like, so beautifully worded.
Yeah.
You know, on everything you're saying. And whether you know it or not, folks, this is gold value. This will get you to anything you want.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever read Will Smith's book?
I haven't read it. I heard it was amazing though.
So it was good. And like one thing I loved about it, and like he has a different way of describing it than I do. I actually used in my MBA class, we had a stats class, and then we were studying decision trees, right? And decision trees are basically, we have these two decisions and what are the probabilities of those decisions. So I kind of bastardize this and say, if I make this decision, what is my probability towards success, right? And Will Smith does this similarly. He talks about fight camp at one point. How can every decision I make in life, you know, like being in fight camp and focusing my whole life on acting and fighting before Muhammad Ali and that sort of stuff. It's like I can control, you know, what's going on with my body, my progress, all these sort of things. So our decisions every single day impact whether we're progressing towards a lofty goal or away from a lofty goal, right? It's like Tyler can sleep in tomorrow, and is that in any way, shape, or form, even if it feels peripheral, going to get me closer to the goal? You know, I don't have to work out for my job, but I do have to work out because it's my mind that needs it, right? It's like, so that's one decision I make at the very beginning of the day to progress me forward. If I want to start skipping that, then guess what? I'm taking my probability down on my success, right? And that's what nobody wants to do. They don't want to wake up and realize every single decision gets you closer or further away.
Yeah, and there's a difference between knowing a path and walking a path.
Yeah.
You know? Like there's a difference, and you'll see the people that walk the path as opposed to knowing the path, because it's like we know what to eat to get in shape. We know what exercise to do.
Sure.
So like you would think,
you know, that's bad, that's good.
Yeah, everybody should be in shape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody should be but that's not the case. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times I'm telling you, it's the discipline, it's the consistency. And I remember, when I did a movie called The Dunbar Heist that we went to production with a guy named Caleb Pinkett, who is Jada Pinkett's brother, who works for Will Smith and them. And before he could work for Will Smith, he wanted to like work for him. And Will Smith made him read like all these books, and he said, and you need a six-pack. And he was like, what? I need a six-pack? Like, this is crazy. He's like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. He's like, listen, if you want to work for me, you have to have a six-pack, because if you can take care of your body and do this to your body, like you can get in shape, then I can trust you with my business. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you're out of shape, like I can't trust you with my livelihood.
Yeah.
Because you don't take care of you.
Yep.
So how would you take care of me and the things that I have?
Agreed.
And he was like, this guy's crazy. So he said he got a six-pack. It was the hardest thing in his life. Still has a six-pack. But, like, it was just one of those things where I was like, man, like, that's so true.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you can't take care of you, how can you take care of me? And I have a lot.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I was like, man, but it's and like I say, it's such a tailor fit success. Like I say all the time, like it's one of those things where if you really want it and you do it, like you do what it takes, like you'll always you'll be good. Cause see, like, that's how I've always felt. Is like I've always done what I had to do.
Yeah.
You know, to do what I wanted to do, and I've always tried to do it to the best of my ability. I've always tried to like over deliver. I've always tried to be prepared. Like I've always, you know, and I've never folded. I've never put my like I've always just worked hard and just said like I'm gonna do the best that I can do and be the best version of me, and that's all I can control.
Sure.
I can't control if someone gives me opportunity.
Yeah.
I can't control if I don't do anything ever. Like,
yeah.
I don't control it, but all I can do is just be the best version of myself
yep.
and move towards that.
Yeah. It gives you your best ability at approaching anything lofty, right? It's like you build an avatar that's capable, right? Through your mindset, through your, you know, through reading, through education, through fitness, you know, and then you take the avatar as far as it can go. You know, you have to be healthy to be able to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You have to be feeling good to be able to be in a good personality on set that makes people want to be around you. It's like, it all ties together, every single thing in your life.
Everything. And a lot of people that struggle with certain areas, there's no regiment of consistency in that area. There's no regiment. I have a regiment. I have a base. Like every morning I have to listen to something like positive or motivational. I have to work out. I have to compete in something at least like 2 to 3 times a week. So I'll join like a league because that gets that out.
Sure.
And then like there's certain things I have to be in classes. I have to like there's a base that I have to be me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because once it's like that's a keystone. Like everything has a keystone. If we build a house, there's a slat that holds everything together. Like my keystone has to be strong to where I can perform or I can show up as me.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if my regiments are off, then I'm off.
Yeah.
Usually if I'm out of shape, usually mentally, my body is a reflection of how I'm doing mentally. You know, like there's just so many things that like I need to do to be me. And there's people that like struggle with consistency in areas. And I'm just like, that's because you don't have any regiments in place.
And you don't want it hard enough.
You don't want it bad enough, but you don't have any regiments in place to even keep you consistent enough to have it.
You know how easy it's become for me to pick out superstars? How? It's become so easy, it's ridiculous. Right? It's like I can ask them 4 questions and know whether they're going to make it pretty much.
Yeah.
Either that or you've got to prove me wrong. And some people come from prove me wrong and they do well.
There's always exceptions.
I basically know these days. It's that easy to tell. Right? It's like the people that really make it have a consistent group of things that you can notice in them. And that's what I really try to teach in this like podcast. It's like, these are the consistent things. Don't look for the magic trick. Start the hard work. That's the shortcut. And I know I'm like some crazy bearded dude that my friend has to buy me shoes because I won't even buy my own sometimes. But it's like, listen to this. This is what actually works. And that's what I try to bring friends on like you today, you know, and then like, tell them. So they're not just listening to me all the time. It's like, you can have anything you possibly want. You know, it's like, and I want your success more than you probably want your success. Because I know how kind-hearted you are too. And I know the impact you're going to make more and more as you get more in that success, you know? And that's why one of my key phrases is I want to make more kind-hearted badasses. You know, you ever call me about a business question, I don't answer for you in every way I can possibly can, you know? It's like, I'll support you till the end because you're an amazing person and I want to watch you go, you know? And like, by that, I will have a hand in your success and the amazing things you're going to do in this world.
I appreciate it. Yeah, because it is one of those things where it's like, there's a lot of good people that aren't in the right position. And there's a lot of bad people in the right position. And you're like, why does that work like that? Like, why? Like,
and some of them get the breaks. And it's like, here's the other thing though. It's like, you wouldn't even want it. If you would have went right out and like got the lead part in the Green Mile, right next to like whatever. If you would have went out and got like the biggest part in the world right away, that was the biggest movie I could think of in that moment. But you know, it's like you wouldn't even have like it's like look at how easy this was. It wouldn't even have felt that good.
It wouldn't even felt that good.
When you have to go out there and struggle and hurt and get there, you know, it's like
so much. Because you know what it took to get there.
You know, we want. You know, it's like when we look at somebody with fitness, we admire that because we know the hard work it took to get. When we see somebody with a Ferrari, we assume that they've worked hard to get the Ferrari, right? You know, and did you know there was a period in time where people admired people with rotten teeth?
Why?
Because it was hard to get. you couldn't afford the sugary things that would rot your teeth, so it was seen as beautiful. You know, it's like, and so that's another point I try to get out all the time. It's like there was a time in life where if you had a tan, that was ugly. That meant you were a farmer, right? What does it mean today? Right? It's like, it means that you have time and luxury to be out in the sun.
Right. Or even being like having a big belly meant that you were wealthy.
Exactly.
Because you could eat
because you could afford the food.
Want. Yeah, you could afford the food.
If it was easy, nobody would want it anyways. It wouldn't feel of value, right? And so now all these things today, it's like, well, it's hard. Yeah, well, it's hard so you can appreciate it for one, you know? And it's a barrier to entry for those of you that don't deserve it.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And it's so much about learning you. Yeah. Spending the time to learn you. It's like there's this quote, my favorite quote was, when I search for God, I find myself. And when I search for myself, I find God. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like you learn you. Yeah. You learn what you're good at. You learn places that you can go. You have control over yourself. You know, because most people that are very successful, they're great listeners and they have control over themselves. They have control. It's like nothing controls them. You know, some people, they got to smoke all the time. They got to do this. Like they don't have any control. It controls them. But a lot of people that reach this level of success, they have control over themselves. Yeah. They're in control of themselves.
And quite often they use that thing that most people think would be a disadvantage as an advantage. Like in the acting world, Steve Buscemi, right? Yeah. Typically, actors are really good looking, right? You don't even really think to be an actor if you're not really good looking. Right. And Steve Buscemi is one of the greatest actors out there, and he's cast in all these really interesting parts because he's different looking. He's different, you know? It's like, and so, or Danny DeVito, you know, is like short and, you know, like funny guy, you know, it's like, there's a lot of talents in this world that like we don't think to utilize. We're like, oh, I'm not the typical. And that actually that could be what's more likely to help them make it.
Yeah. Wow. And there's just like I'm telling you, everyone that you see, every success, I see the work that goes into that. Yeah. And I'm always like even being a good act, that's work.
It is.
Being an entrepreneur, that's work. Having, you know, it's work. And I admire work. I admire greatness. Like I have this infatuation with greatness. And I love like even through history, great people in history. And I used to always say like, what makes this person great? Yeah. Like what makes you great? And I remember I had a conversation with one of my friends because I was lucky enough to like see so much and be around people. And that's one thing that I wish more people had the opportunity to see what good and great looks like.
Agreed.
Like I wish, you know how someone could say, you know how someone could say like, hey, I want you to see this house. Yeah. You're like, hey, I could get a house like this. Wow. Now I know it's possible. I want you to see like, I wish someone could hang out with like any entrepreneur for like a day or two and just see what goes into it, what they deal with, how they like go through it, how they like the fires that they put out on a daily basis, like how like they move through things that you would say like, oh my, like this is what it look, because either you're gonna do two things. You're either gonna say, okay, I could do this, or you're gonna say, okay, I gotta figure. You hear about those kids that like play basketball or football and they think they're going to the league, and then they play against like an All-American, and they're like, oh my gosh, like whoa. Like they get to see it right away.
There's two choices.
Like, there's two choices. Yeah. And I remember I was talking to this guy at this football game, and he was saying that like he thought he was gonna go to the NBA, and then he said that this kid came to their school to play him, and they said he was like, I didn't even know someone could be that good, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna jump into finance. He's like, I'm a little white guy, I got to jump. Like, but he was just like, it just like humbled me. Like I was like, wow, like there's people out here like that are this good, and I was just telling him, I was like, man, life. It's funny how like in sports, your body type or the position show you like where you are. Like in life, it's like here. Yeah. It's not like as clear as like your physicality. Like you could jump on a football field. I said, oh, this guy's big and fast. He's gonna be good. But like in life, it's like up here. It is. You know, and it's like I'm telling you, I just wish more people could see, and that's why I'm like I'm so blessed because I've got to like I was exposed to not just like seeing people that are talented and good, and like that's what this podcast does. It gives you like an inner depth or like an inner sight to seeing someone, but I got to see like what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and a lot of times like if you're not there, it looks crazy.
That's why
it looks crazy, Tyler. Like
I feel like I owe it.
You know what I'm saying? It looks nuts. Like
does.
You're like, there's no way. Like until you're exposed to it,
yeah.
Then you're like, this is why you're there, and this is why I'm here, or this is why I'm here and you're there. Like you see it.
But it's controllable too. It comes down to discipline and how bad you want it, you know, and that's what I like. I like to open the window for people because it was open for me. You know, I worked at like really horrible jobs early on, you know, around really rich people. And when I started noticing that they were normal, but they had a certain set of habits and discipline, and honestly, in some ways, like the most successful ones were the ones that really did have those normals, you know, discipline. It wasn't the people with the most breaks, you know, like they made an amount of success because, you know, they had some advantages and things like that. But this is all controllable. And that's what I try to get people out there thinking about. And the second that they're thinking about giving up was probably the second they were about to make it. Like, do you know the story of the guy from Breaking Bad? He plays the villain.
Who played Saul Goodman or
I can't remember.
Gustavo Fring.
Thank you. I don't know if you know this, but like right before like he was thinking about committing suicide.
Yeah,
and he was trying to figure out a way to like make it so like his family could get the money.
Yeah.
And he was like a week away from doing this.
Wow.
And he cast in the part of Breaking Bad, which I've seen him in a bunch of movies since then.
Yeah, I loved his character, Gustavo Fring.
Yeah, and it's just that crazy to me. People are so close to giving up. It's like it takes the discipline and the start and they're like motivation, and then it keeps like Mr. Beast. I don't know, like 5,000 videos before he hit 10,000 hits, and he says, "Don't come to me until you've made 500 videos." Right? It's like here's a kid that had no advantage in the world. He just wanted to make videos, right? You know, it's like the comedian Matt Riff, right? Matt Rife. 10 years, nothing.
Yeah.
YouTube or TikTok video blasts him off, you know.
Me and him used to we used to go ghost hunting and make we used to go ghost hunting together. And just sketches. And it's funny, I remember Matt like sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
I would pick up Matt and we'd go do like comedy and stand up and stuff like that, but we'd just like hang out all the time. And Matt would sleep on like his friend's couch.
Yeah.
For a long time. But he was always so like young, but he was always like super talented, super good, still a good friend of mine, like just a good person. But like that's what I'm saying. I got to see so much.
Is he another one that worked hard and that got there?
Very, very hard. But that's the thing is like I remember my sister called me once, and she was like, "How are you so disciplined?" For real, she's like, "You're the most disciplined person I've ever met. Like how?" And in my mind, I'm like, oh, you think I'm disciplined? Like, this is what I'm thinking. I'm like if you think I'm disciplined, I know some people that I'm trying to get to. Like, there's levels I'm trying to get to. And that's when I realized I was there's a difference. There's like these, like I say all the time, where it's like, you don't just land on top of a mountain. That's what people don't realize. Like, you don't even on Matt, like I've seen Matt go through it. You see what I'm saying? Like have some bad shows, like not feel, and I'm like, that's all right, it's good. Like a lot, like me, everybody, it's like we see these success stories. We see these people that have this like level of success, but it's like I've seen people overcome so much and still continue to be great. I've seen Matt overcome a lot and still be great. I've seen a lot of people I've seen like overcome so much and still be great, and a lot of people would have stopped.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have been like, all right, you know what? How long am I gonna sleep on this couch? Like, this is all, like, I'm not gonna, So like that resilience, that hard work, like it separates you.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between being okay, being good, being great, being like phenomenal. There's a difference, and it's up here.
Yeah.
It's up here.
The wonderful thing too is like so much of the world is not willing to do it. So that's the advantage to those that are. No. So
even with podcasts, even with like the information's out there, right? It's like we can listen to it all day. There's a lot of people that aren't willing to like do what it takes for what they want.
No.
Over and
over
it's
again.
like,
I work with small business people all day, I work with podcasters a lot, it's like it all comes down to the same thing. It's just like going to the gym. You can't show up one day and expect abs, right? It's all the same with every single bit of anything you want. And the other part of that is like you wouldn't even want it if it was that easy anyways.
Right.
So
wouldn't even want it.
That's what set everybody apart. You gave to the audience exactly the value that I was hoping today.
Thanks so much.
And I think folks, you can take a lot out of that conversation if you really will. It all comes down to discipline, desire, and like doing a lot of things that a lot of people won't do daily for longer than you think at times. It's like, but I hope you got a lot out of that today, underdogs. Can't wait to see you next time. Thank you, Norm, for coming in.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Do you want to shoot out any Instagram, social media, anything like that?
Just, my Instagram, everything's my name, at Norman Towns, NormanTowns.
All right, my friend. And we'll have Norm on again sometime, and I'll wear a different pair of shoes that he brought me. See you next time.
All right, take care, guys.
Hello and welcome to Underdogs, Bootstrappers, and Game Changers. This is for those of you that are starting with nothing and using business to change their stars. Motivating people who disrupted industry standards. This is the real side of business. This isn't Shark Tank. My aim with this podcast is to take away some of the imaginary roadblocks that are out there. I want to help more underdogs because underdogs are truly who change the world. This is part of our Content for Good initiative. All the proceeds from the monetization of this podcast will go to charitable causes. It's for the person that wants it.